All right. Looks like we're a little behind schedule, which I guess for show pig previews, I guess is right on schedule. So welcome you guys that are here in person, and welcome everybody that is maybe tuning in on Kennedy Ventures. Obviously, this will be broadcasted there on Kennedy's website, Facebook page, as well as Walton Webcasting. So again, fifth year. It's crazy to think that. This is the fifth year of this event. It seems like just a few years ago we were kind of getting the idea to do this, and it's exploded. The success, has been good, and we've been very fortunate. So thank you guys for being here. Thanks to everybody that makes this all happen. We probably talk more than we should, and we're going to try to maybe shorten it up just a bit tonight, because I know sometimes we can really get down into the details, and at the end of the day, you guys maybe check out after some of that excessive talking. So, again, we're going to have the preview here tonight. We're going to have a meal afterwards. For those of you guys that are here, you're welcome to stick around as long as you want. We'll have some beverages and a dinner here after the preview. Tomorrow is sale day. Friday night is the auction, Friday, November 14th, 2 p.m. Everybody's welcome to come to the farm. 3 p.m. we'll do an actual preview like this again. Me and Will won't talk them. It'll be a little shorter and more brief for folks that are just here in person. It will not be broadcasted. So you're more than welcome to come tomorrow. But for those of you guys tuning in, this will be the only opportunity to see the offering on the World Wide Web. So that'll be at 3 o'clock. 5:30 we'll do some happy hour stuff, some hospitality, some hors d'oeuvres. 6:30 we'll have a dinner. We'll have the famous pork chop dinner that we always have at this event. We talked about changing it up, but it just kind of seems right to just do it again. So that's what we're going to do. 7 o'clock we'll have our awards ceremony that I've talked about the last few days. We've been very fortunate to have a decent amount of success over the last 12 months, and we want to recognize those kids. So that'll be at 7 o'clock tomorrow night. And then we'll kick off the auction shortly after that at 7:30. So live auction will obviously be a live auction here at the farm, right on the other side of the wall. We will preview them like I talked about, but when it comes down to auction time, we're just going to sell them off TV there on the other side of the wall. So that will be at 7:30. Obviously, we'll have online bidding through CCI, and then after that, we'll have a good time. We'll have some live music and some drinks and some things like that. So if you're tuning in and thinking about coming, we'd encourage you to get here. We think the quality of livestock is good. More importantly, man, we're going to have a good time tomorrow night. We always do. It never fails. So again, it's crazy to think about year 5. It's never easy to put together a set, because at the end of the day, we've been very fortunate and blessed to sell baby pigs at a high level, and because of that, we could just keep all these, if I'm being honest, and make life easier, I guess, and maybe just take this month off in terms of selling pigs. But for some crazy reason, we always like to add a live sale, another pig sale, and kind of keep things rolling. So for those of you guys who don't know, I'm sure most of you do know him, Mr. Will Hilty's to my right. We've been good friends for a hot minute now. Always blessed to go to his similar event, I guess you'd call it, there in May, that he has there in Pennsylvania, and kind of help commentate his livestock and serve as a sale contact, and then he obviously repays the favor. I know he's bought some out of this particular sale that have done a nice job for him, and if you flip through the catalog, I think you'll see some of his genetics, not only on the dam side of things with some stuff that maybe we laid in here at our place, but at the same time on the sire side of things, I think you'll see some stuff that goes back to his genetics. So very, very fortunate to have him here. Obviously, he's got a new one on the ground here just a few weeks ago or months ago, whenever it would have been. I lose track of time, but I know he's busy, and they've got a lot of things going on in there at their farm, just like every pig farmer. So very blessed and happy to have him here. A guy there I call a good buddy, and more importantly, or just as importantly, I should say, not more importantly, but a good stockman that does a very good job. So I'll let Will maybe say a couple of comments, and then we're going to start. We're actually going to start lot 25, a system we've always done, and we're going to just do it again, because I guess if it's not broke, don't fix it. We are going to go in backwards catalog order. So we're going to start at 25. We will end at lot 1, and then the power hour son, we call Power and Light, we'll parade him around here at the end of this. So it is in backwards catalog order in terms of live lots. I will say, again, we're not going to try to get too long-winded, but there will be a sale order. We are going to post that tomorrow morning. They will not sell in lot order. There will be a specific sale order. So I want everybody to be aware of that moving forward. There will be a sale order. We will post that on Kennedy Ventures, showpig.com, our Facebook page, and so on and so forth. So everybody that's interested in bidding tomorrow night, be sure to be aware that we aren't selling them 1 through 25. There will be a specific sale order.
Well, certainly excited to be back for I believe, the 5th edition of The Source. And, man, it seems like the first one was just yesterday over there in the old building. And, man, a testament to the crew here at Team Sloan. It's hard to put a set together to have an event like this, yet be able to continue to provide for your pig customers. When he sent me the catalog to kind of proof it for him, and I flipped through it, man, I was excited for him. I was excited to get here and see these things in person. I think that, in my opinion at least, you can make the argument this is as good a group as they've put together, and excited to get them out here in front of you guys. Feel free if you've got any questions or want my opinion on something. That's what I'm here for, to give you my honest opinion on the stock that we previewed tonight. And if you're a couple hours away and on the fence about coming and never been here before, the pork chops are great, the potatoes are even better, and the facility and more importantly the crew here, absolutely top-notch. So he always says he's not going to get long-winded. I'm not going to get long-winded. We're going to preview the pigs and look forward to visiting with you all about them.
Well, thanks, Will, and I guess we'll get things rolling again. Sorry for starting just a few minutes late, but in the show pig world, I guess a few minutes late's right on time. So, again, we're going to video them in backwards catalog order. We can go ahead and drop that lot 25 out, guys. We're actually going to start with all the gilts. It's just kind of how we've done the catalog. So these first, I believe, 6 lots will all be gilts. Obviously, they will not have farrowed to this point. Most of these gilts, with exceptions of maybe one, have grown up in kind of a slatted finishing barn kind of setting, so they're maybe not the smartest. So we'll go ahead and apologize in advance that maybe they're not as whip broke or ready to roll as maybe some, but we are excited. Again, not going to sound long-winded, but probably going to get that way. But it's always interesting because the buying public wants to buy sows because there's not farrowing issues, and then sometimes the most serious buyers want to dip into the most latest and greatest genetics. So we try to offer just a little bit of variation there in terms of gilts and sows. This here would be a whacked out, tell-all, unashamed. She would be lot 25, Mile High there at Halfin Genetics would be her service sire. She is due the 22nd of November.
Well, yeah, just to reiterate Troy's comments there a little bit on these bred gilts, maybe a little higher risk, but I think in the same breath you could make the argument that the upside or higher reward aspect on those, the ceiling sky high. And what a way to start this whacked out gilt. Beautiful in terms of look and presence ahead of her blade. She's long-hipped. And then her service sire there, bred by Allied Genetics in Colorado. I think you can make an argument that that boar's mother is one of the premier sows in the country. That sow raised the grand at Phoenix there last year, a pig that I had a chance to see that won that Cheyenne Youth Expo there in Wyoming, and the crew there at Ally and Halfin both getting things done and done right, and a service sire I'm sure you're going to be heard from. And man, what a special kind of bred gilt to start with. Wild looking, big rib, big bodied, length of hips good. I think just a tremendous way to get started here tonight.
Well, for sure, and I'm not going to talk a lot on this particular subject, but, Will said, hey, we got to get the wheels under some of these as soon as they farrow, and I couldn't agree more. We've got some early due dates. We know that. We've planned accordingly. Laura will be here tomorrow night and head east to try to get some of these delivered. So I promise you, if you're worried about getting them from point A to point B in a quickly manner, we've got our trailers lined up. Trent's going to be here. We've got some third-party guys that are going to come through. Again, she's due the 22nd of November. Don't let that bother you. We'll get her in your farrowing crate just as soon as possible. So, again, lot 25 here. This will be a whacked-out tell-all. Her mom would have actually originated from the Kracke firm. She's bred to Mile High due the 22nd of November. Next up will be certainly a sale highlight, in my opinion anyway, and one that's just always looked this way, to be honest. This would be a New Heights, tricked out, never before. So from a pedigree perspective, New Heights would actually have been the $120,000 boar, I believe, that was the Cinderella son that me and Will would have sold at PT there just a few seasons ago to Upper Hand Genetics. We didn't have a ton of those pigs, I guess, if I'm being honest, just because he was a little banged up at one time. But at the same time, they've been good. A littermate sister to this particular gilt would have won the Dixie National there down there in Mississippi a few months ago, and then would have actually went on to be the Grand Gilt at the American Royal Spring Edition. So didn't have many pigs out of that particular litter. This gilt and that gilt would have been the ones that kind of rise to the top in that particular mating. This gilt's always been a personal favorite of mine, though. Again, I can't say enough about the New Heights and what we had. And what's interesting about this the mom of this one would actually be a littermate sister to the boar we would have sold to Crossroads there a few seasons ago for $140,000. They called Pass the Hat. So from a pedigree perspective, you got Cinderella back in there, as well as Pass the Hat's mom, two of the better sows that we've had the opportunity to work with. Again, her littermate sister was highly, highly successful. I was texting a guy earlier, a good buddy of mine. He said, well, who showed this one? I said, nobody. We put her back because we'd sold the littermate and didn't know if we had the opportunity to get her back or not. She's bred to far and wide. Those pigs have been incredible, I think, across the country. She again is due late November the 24th.
Well, I couldn't agree with what Troy had to say more when he touched on, from a pedigree standpoint, tying Cinderella in there, tying Past the Hat, littermate in there. I think when you study the sow lines represented in this particular bred gilt, you can make an argument that those are some of the better sow lines anywhere in the country. And then visually, you lay your eyes on this gilt, and I think bred sale season, the term of front pasture female gets used a little too loosely sometimes, but this looks like one that's not only mated for success in litter one. This looks like a sow that 3, 4, 5 years down the road could be making positive contributions to any operation in the country. I had her circled in my catalog before I got here. When she comes out here and goes across the pellets, I think that just reiterates that first impression as I went through the catalog. Special kind of female, looks heavy bred, and that far and wide deal. We haven't had any of those at my place, but we need to, because I've heard a lot of good things there. Very impressive female, made it up for success.
Again, this will be lot 24. She'll be a littermate sister, the Grand Gilt at Dixie and the Grand Gilt at the Spring American Royal. She is bred to far and wide. She's due November 24th of this month here. The next two lots will actually be direct daughters of Lot 1 in this particular event. Two gilts, I guess. I'll talk a little bit about, get a little long-winded here maybe on the first one and maybe not talk as much on the second one because they are littermates. So this will be Lot 23. Obviously, Lot 22 will be coming next. They come from a little different mold maybe in terms of their build and the positive attributes that they bring to the forefront. But at the same time, like I said, they're both daughters of a Lot 1 and a sow that I think is going to be a headliner in this particular sale. These would be Trick Daddy, no introduction, lock it up. This particular painted up female is bred to Midnight Hammer. Midnight Hammer would be the Claw's son that we would have sold Showtime Sires there last spring in our, I guess it would have been our first online auction there of the season. And I can tell you, that particular litter was very, very good. Would have made the 4th overall gilt at the Iowa State Fair as well as the reserve gilt at the Missouri State Fair. This gilt, again, we're leading with some of these gilts. Obviously, a little more guesswork here, but she's due again the 30th day of November. We bred a bunch of those gilts for that, kind of last week of November, and offering some of the ones that we feel are better. Again, they'd be daughters of Lot 1, and you guys can roll through the catalog. You can text us or call us or whatever if you have more questions. I can't say enough about Lot 1 and what she's done for our program. And as you scroll through the program, she's also got a sister in this sale that's selling as Lot 5. So I guess 4 of the 25 lots that we have kind of all go back to the same stuff here. Again, Lot 23.
Well, visually, another very impressive gilt comes out here in this painted up Lot 23. And then, we touched on it in the opening comments about how some people gravitate toward the proven sows and maybe less guesswork. I think you can make an argument that you get a little bit of both right here with a daughter of Lot 1 and a bred gilt that has her whole life ahead of her and ready to write her own story. I did walk back through when they fed earlier, and that Lot 1 will absolutely make your mouth water. I think anybody in the country would be proud to have a daughter of that particular sow. And also her little mate sister's Lot 5, I believe, another one of the very, very impressive sows. I had an opportunity to go to Showtime this summer and see Midnight Hammer in person, and I think, man, he complements this gilt so well. Her look, her attractiveness, her build, coupled with just his extra ruggedness and stoutness, I think this one here is set up for success. And I think also you could make the argument in terms of farrowing date, that late November, first couple days of December almost is prime time anymore. Another really good bred gilt here that I think they've got teed up for success with the way they've got her bred.
Well, for sure. And like I said, most of these gilts in the offering kind of grew up in just a slatted area there, and maybe had never seen a whip until the last few days, so maybe not wanting to cooperate the best. But again, proud of this one, proud of her littermate sister that'll come out next. Again, they'd be the daughters of Lot 1. This is, again, Lot 23, bred to Midnight Hammer, due the 30th day of November. Again, probably keep it just a little shorter and sweeter because this is a litter mate, so we've told you that kind of the history on that particular mating. But again, Trick Daddy, no introduction, lock it up. This would be Lot 22, so it should be a litter mate to the painted up gilt that we just saw. Again, another one here that's bred to far and wide. We used him maybe as hard as any. We settled good. We liked our pigs. I liked that boar as a little one. I liked him even better as a mature one. Another one here that's due the 23rd day of November.
Well, again, this gilt hits the preview ring, and as Troy was going over the details there, I was kind of glancing at my catalog and maybe didn't touch enough on the fact that, man, Trick Daddy has had success in terms of a boar that's sired sons that have went back to boar studs and sired pigs that have won shows. I think that's a boar that you could make the argument that his true legacy could be in the daughters that he puts back in herds across the country. And I think this gilt's a prime example of that. And then, so many times we want to talk about consistency within a litter. There you've got a litter mate sister that got it at the top end of the sale order at OYE, which is arguably the toughest gilt show in the country. Then you've got 2 litter mates that are in this offering that absolutely make your mouth water. I think that speaks of volumes in terms of the depth of the litter. Their mother's Lot 1, their aunt's Lot 5. Man, what a story. The story's already wrote. All you've got to do is get the pigs on the ground, get them ready to sell, and I think you're set up for success. Another really special kind of a bred gilt here.
For sure, of the gilt offering, certainly one of my personal favorites. And again, not going to try to get too long-winded. This would be Lot 22, bred to far and wide. She's due the 23rd day of November. Well, we'll drop this next one out, and again, never was shown, so maybe not whip broke, but I hope she cooperates for everybody watching online. I hope she cooperates for everybody here in person. I absolutely love this pig, and I told someone earlier, she's without a doubt one of my favorite breds that we've ever sold, regardless of gilts, sows, whatever it may be. This would be an all-out breaking rules back on a wedding night, and for those of you guys that have studied the catalog, this would be a daughter of what will be Lot 9 that we'll see here in just a few minutes. More importantly, man, she's bred to culture shock. I think the first pigs of those have been very, very well received. I know it's early on, but there is absolutely no doubt in my mind that that's the most popular, most relevant boar probably at this stage of the game that of anything we've ever raised. The boys, when we sorted them off, they kind of gave me dirty looks when I said, we're going to sell this one. I said, if we're going to have an event, and we're going to try to attract the most serious bred gilt buyer, the bred sow buyer, whatever kind of bred buyer you're going to kind of try to attract to an event like this, we're going to have to offer some of our best. This would be a Charlene daughter, Lot 21. Again, comes from one of our best sow lines, bred to arguably one of the most popular boars in the country. I'll let you guys listen to Will's comments on this one. I think the ceiling's very, very high.
I visited with Troy about this particular event as he started to put the catalog together and got pictures taken and so forth. He told me that he thought the bred gilt offering this year was going to be extra special, and as we've seen the first 4 or 5 of them here, I couldn't agree more, but I think in the same breath, this one's just a little different than the other ones we've seen. Same kind of build, same kind of functionality, but got some far-reaching pieces. This one looks like, for lack of a better term, a boar maker to me. This is one that could be off the charts good, and you go back and had the opportunity to see her mom back there in the barn, and I think you could make the argument that her mother is visually the most impressive animal in the entire offering, a sow that stood the test of time. I got to see her as a show gilt there also in San Antonio. Thought she won that show very easy in terms of talking about this gilt's mother, and still looks the part, still contributing. I think, again, I talked about front pasture sows being used too loosely. This is one that could be front pasture anywhere. Looks like the kind that can raise a boar. We've got our first culture shocks at home, about ready to wean, and hate to get too excited about baby pigs in the farrowing crate, but they've just got a different look to them, and I think that boar complements this gilt exceptionally well. I think the ceiling on this one here just absolutely out of this universe. Special kind of a bred gilt right here.
Well, for sure, and just to echo kind of what he said, I do think it's perfect mating. We watched that. We had the opportunity to raise that boar. We had the opportunity to go look at him at Premium Blend when he was a big one, and I think the reports have been off the charts. Again, maybe gets a little upset out here, maybe doesn't want to cooperate the best, but this has been one of my absolute favorite that we've ever put together from start to finish. Again, this would be Lot 21, bred to culture shock, due the 23rd day of November. Keep rolling here in the bred gilt offering, and as much as I like that one that just come through, I suppose it's cliche, I guess, for lack of better terms. I guess we're up here to sell them. We're probably not going to tell you guys that there are a bunch of average ones that we don't like, but at the same time, as much as I like that 21, this 20, pushes her about as hard as you could possibly push one, I guess, for your quote-unquote favorite bred of the offering. This would be a canoe. No stranger, king size. The king size sow back in there would have been one of our high selling females just a few seasons ago, or a few sales ago in the source a couple years ago. The no stranger mom back in here behind this particular female would actually been the grand gilt at Breeders' Cup there a couple seasons ago for Lainey Gaston. She's started off and done a very good job. This particular gilt come from an awesome litter. There was several high-selling prospects. We actually kept 2 of those gilts. One of those actually would have farrowed culture shocks the other day, and we don't have a lot of sows that are gilts, if I'm just going to be honest, that lay down and have them on their own. This one's littermate sister laid down and had, I believe, 8 or 9 the other day, all on her own. We didn't touch her. Those pigs look very, very good. This would be a gilt, I guess we call Little Spaz. Spaz would have been her mom, again, that would have won Breeders' Cup there a couple seasons ago. This one's mated to Logic there at Beeman's at 333. She is also due the later part of November. I think this mating, just lining up this deal in terms of phenotypic traits could make a lot of sense here. Gilt has always been bold, always been broad-billed, always been short-backed. I think a very, very rare opportunity here to tap into some of our better stuff, and without a doubt, a sale highlight in my opinion.
Well, those of you sitting home, as we round out, I believe this is the last bred gilt as we go through the preview here. Probably got tired of hearing the term sale highlight, but man, I think it's been used rightfully so. A gilt here just phenotypically pattern, silhouette, rib, body, and just center dimension, coupled with just a killer hip and hind leg. And then I think the most exciting part of this gilt is we all want to talk about head and skull shape. I think this particular gilt's got just an absolutely beautiful kind of a head on her, and Troy touched on her litter mate and the job she did. We've got a few canoe sows that had her first litters this past summer. And I'm telling you that those did just an absolutely phenomenal job, not only in terms of farrowing and doing all those things that maybe we don't talk about enough in this deal, but the pigs were good and sold well, got into some good homes. I think this, front pasture kind that not only is mated up for success here in her first litter, this hits me as another one of those females that could be around 4, 5, 6 years from now and still getting things done because her basic build and fundamentals are so good, yet she comes with extras. And then you talk about one that's carrying a heavy guarantee. Man, she looks heavy bred. Looks like she's got a big litter of pigs in her. I think, man, they've got the guesswork taken care of here. I think another special kind of a bred gilt.
Well, for sure, again, this would be lot 20. She'd be a canoe daughter. Mom would be a no stranger king size. She's bred to the popular Logic boar there at 333. She is due the 24th day of November. We'll jump the gun a little bit, and we'll have to dock his pay for that. But this will actually be the last bred gilt, I guess, within the offering here tonight that we'll bring in front of you guys. Here's another trick daddy. Her mom would be a quite frankly never before, and I know Will actually has bought a littermate sister, this one's mom, a few sales ago. Littermate brother to this particular gilt would have been 3rd overall at the Dixie National there just a few months ago, or I guess at the beginning of this particular year. South side of things has done an awesome job. Littermate boar to the mom of this one would have been the $20,000 boar we sold at PT that a few of those guys, Halfin and a couple of those other guys teamed up to buy. They called Play to Win. I think what's also interesting about this is the Grand Bear at the Nebraska State Fair this summer would be a maternal brother to lot 19. So we can sit here and talk about this all night long. A lot of those details are in the catalog, so I'd encourage you to read through that. I know sometimes it can be so many details, and we don't want to get drowned in too many details tonight. But again, this would be lot 19. She's bred the wildly popular Relentless boar there at Premium Blend. She is also due the 25th day of November.
Yeah, as Troy alluded to there, I jumped the gun and don't by any means want to leave this bred gilt out of the mix, because I think she fits right there with the rest of the group in terms of just what she represents phenotypically, and then you dive into the pedigree. Troy mentioned that I own a litter mate to this one's mom, and I'll tell you, that sow's been just absolutely phenomenal for us. She looks the part. She does a great job in the crate. She generates pigs that sell high and more importantly feed. And then man, when you study this one, just phenotypically and what Relentless brings to the table, we've got about 125 gilts in the finisher at my place right now, and some of my absolute favorites are Relentless. They're stout, they're rugged, they're really, really heavy structured, yet they're built good. So I think that boar complements this particular gilt very, very well.
So that there with the black-headed target-hipped gilt would be lot 19. She's bred to Relentless, due the 25th day of November. Again, that would be the wrap-up of the bred gilt offering. And anybody that's here in person, you guys are more than welcome to kick through the offering as we conclude the preview here tonight. Obviously, we're running them out here in front of you, but if you want to go kick through the pins and study them, we'll dang sure welcome you to do that. So as we kick off the sow offering, you know, everybody asks about lot numbers and catalog order. It's pretty random. So if you guys see one that's a lower lot or a higher lot, don't put too much stock in that, because again, it's just a little more random, probably how we run these through. But with that said, this would be lot 18. This would be the kickoff of the bred sow version or portion of this particular event. This particular female would be a misconception. Believe in Me, Never Before, and actually would go back to that same sow line that we just talked about. This particular sow would have raised the Division II champion market gilt at the Minnesota State Fair this season. You know, her probably most notable litter was the pair of pigs that we took to the established there in Texas, I guess last fall. I believe that pair of pigs would have brought 40,000 and 25,000. I think were very, very well received. So those particular pigs were wide awakes. We've kind of went a different route this time. This all access thing, I think, is going to be awfully neat. Obviously, that boar just sired the $525,000 boar for the Goss firm there in Oklahoma. This particular female was actually slated to go to Breeders' Cup there a couple seasons ago. She got a little hurt, got a little injured, and therefore kind of never got to show her at that particular event. But a sow that's done a very good job for us. Again, she's bred to all access. This one be due right in the heat of it, mid-December. She'd be due the 19th day.
Well, when you look at this off-belted female's pedigree on paper and see the misconception in there, you'd expect her to be stout and rugged, and then when you get the opportunity to see her, she's exactly what you'd expect from her pedigree. Very, very stout-featured in terms of just a head and jaw and forearm and features. And then you dive into, and as we get into these bred sows, some of them have already created a little bit of their own story. You look at that Division II market gilt there at Minnesota, one that just absolutely looks phenomenal in her picture. And then how many opportunities do you get to buy a sow in the prime of her life that generated two pigs that grow 65,000 in one litter? Those opportunities don't come along very often. This all-access thing is picking up steam, picking it up fast, and rightfully so. Those pigs are just different in terms of their stoutness. I think for those of you out there maybe wanting to swing for the fences a little more or tie into one that could generate a boar, this one hits me as that kind, in particular the way they've got her mated. Then you look at her due date, that mid-December due date, man, I think there's a ton of versatility there in terms of endpoint. This first sow here that we get started with is one that gets several stars here in my catalog.
For sure. Again, this would be lot 18, the misconception sow. She is due to all access there at our good buddies at Moyer's Genetic Edge there in the state of Ohio. Again, due the 19th day of December. Next up would be lot 17, again going in backwards catalog order. Those for you guys that maybe just tuned in on the webcast or the internet there. This would be lot 17. This would be what we call the Alice daughter, because we're not very creative sometimes and come up with names. But for those of you guys that have followed our program, the Alice sow has been just absolutely incredible. She would have rated this the Grand Cross there at Houston a couple years ago, 5th overall division at the Exposition. This particular sow would have actually made the champion Division I at the Missouri State Fair this summer. Again, you know, sometimes I think these events you can get caught up in everybody's selling their old washed-up sows. This one's right in the heat of things. So due there, or not due, excuse me, birth date there, later part of 2023. So again, a younger sow here that's kind of in the heat of things. You know, we didn't have a ton of those cotton appens. I wish we had more, and I'm probably too hard-headed to go back and use maybe an older boar or two, probably when I should. But what I will say about those cotton appen daughters is they've been exceptional. What few we've had here have been very, very good, and more importantly, across the country have been just absolutely amazing. This gilt's always had just an incredibly good look ahead of her blade. Her hip and hind leg has been absolutely amazing from start to finish. I remember picking her out of the slats there when we went down to where we have our gilts finished out, and she was just perfect in terms of her structure. And I think sometimes to do that in that setting can be awfully difficult. With that being said, as good as her build is, I can't imagine that this Kong thing on her isn't going to be awfully good. You know, I know everybody's got their thoughts on Kongs. They have been some of our absolute best here in terms of hair, in terms of bone, in terms of range of motion, in terms of just the extras that they do have that it takes to win on a big stage. You know, I get the opportunity to judge just a few shows across the country here and there. I will tell you the pig that I just used to win Louisville there just a few days ago was a Kong-sired pig, and still one of my most favorite pigs that I've ever had to use, or got the opportunity to use, I should say, because, man, his ability to be so comfortable, so big bone, and so flexible, and still have all the extra width and mass was so unique. So, again, you know, a good sow line here. The Alice sow has been just absolutely amazing. Another one here that's due right in the heat of things. You know, I don't know if you can go wrong with a December farrowed pig at this stage of the game, or you know, in our industry right now. Man, there's a huge demand for this that age pig. So lot 17, she's bred to Kong, due the 18th day of December.
As I got the catalog, and Troy sent it to me the other day, and I flipped through it on my phone. This is certainly one that caught my attention in terms of the picture that this particular sow took. But I think when you get the chance to appraise her visually, I think even more impressive than her photo. He alluded to just the look and presence that this sow's got. I challenge you to find one better hip and hind leg. Her length of hip, and just bend to her hock, or cushion to her lower joints, and just her ability to reach and go is so impressive for a mature sow. And then I'm on the same page as Troy with this Kong thing. There's differing opinions. We've absolutely loved the ones we have. I think this is the prototypical sow for Kong in terms of look, length of hip. I think he's going to bring the extra feature, hair, and stoutness to the table. And again, from a due date standpoint, that's a date that offers a ton of flexibility. They'll be in high demand. This is another sow that's not only made it up for success this litter, she hits me as one that you could breed to absolutely any boar in the country and not get yourself in the ditch. You could breed her some of those more extreme ones, and her look, balance, and build's going to carry any sire in the country. This is one that could be a foundation piece for any firm in the country. I'd encourage you to keep the daughters, because if they're built like her, they're going to keep you in business.
Excuse me, for sure we've got 3 of those sows, and honestly that's the only reason that we're offering this one. So going to keep the other 2, but she's dang sure pulled her own weight here. Again, that would be lot 17, bred to Kong, due the 18th day of December. Next up will obviously be lot 16. For those of you guys following along online, we're going in backwards catalog order. This would be a Pat This, Never Before Juggernaut. So for those of you guys that have followed along with our program, the mom here would actually be a littermate sister to the mom of Pass the Hat. So we started with 3 of those females. We had 2 of them that kind of stood the test of time, and the mother of this one would be one of those 2 that just did an exceptionally good job. Probably her most notable win, or I guess my favorite pig that particular sow ever would have made was the one that Renee Conklin showed at the exposition there just a few seasons ago, or I guess last summer. She got a piece of her division there at the exposition there in Indianapolis, and one that was maybe not for everybody, but at the same time was so good in my opinion in so many areas. And again, here's another one that's maybe not as out there or as wild in terms of her maybe stoutness or power or width, but I think so good in terms of her skeleton. We just thought it just made sense to breed her to far and wide. The CNC boar there at Premium Blend Genetics. Again, here's another one due the late part of November. I know as you guys scroll through the catalog, there's several of them that are due then. Again, we're going to do our best to get them from point A to point B as quick as we can, because we understand that time's ticking and we need to get them in a farrowing crate. So obviously no worries about that moving forward. Again, this will be lot 16. We'll see what Will says.
Yeah, this narrow-belted sow comes out here, and another one that I think visually, from a visual appraisal standpoint, maybe one of just the taller-shouldered, more elegant-looking ones about the front end of her skeleton, and then coupled with the fact that, man, her length of hip, again, a sow that in terms of length of hip and just rear skeleton structure, I think does so many things right. And then you look at, I remember that gilt that was 5th overall in that division. Well, she was one that she wasn't everybody's kind, but I'll tell you, she was my kind. That was one I liked very, very well, and got a piece of that division there in a tough competitive show. Again, this sow maybe just doesn't blow your socks off in comparison to some of the others, but when you go places, how many places is there a sow that looks like this, that's built right, that you breed to some of those more extreme boars that just continues to come to the forefront and surface time after time? This hits me like one of those kind right there. I think they've got her mated to a T in terms of far and wide, bringing the extras, and then her just skeletal build and quality that she represents. I think return on investment there could be fast-paced.
For sure. Again, that would be lot 16, bred to far and wide. For those of you guys tuning in, she's due the 30th day of November. Next up, as we roll through these, and again, I'm going to stay on the sow side of things, did all the gilts earlier, and now rolling into the bred sows. And again, for those of you guys tuning in, if you got any questions or concerns or whatever it may be from a delivery perspective, or what they look like in person, please reach out to one of our crew members or Will or whoever it may be. We're here to help. We're here to provide the best buying experience that we can. Next up would be a next contestant sow. Her mom would have been Stay Classy, king size. Would have actually sold in last year's sale for $25,000 as lot 15 as well. So when we were putting the catalog together, we thought it just made sense to make her daughter lot 15 as well. Her mom would have been called Alien because we just always thought she was a little weird looking, and that was kind of the name that fit her best. So when this one came along, I guess we just called her Little Alien for those of you guys looking in the catalog. So again, this would be a sow we call Little Alien. She's a next contestant, Stay Classy. I think that Stay Classy thing's been just absolutely incredible. This would actually be the mother of Cade's Barra that would have been reserved at the Missouri State Fair in 2024, and a Barra that I thought was just timeless in terms of his build. I thought he was so unique in terms of having skeletal width and power, and just being absolutely incredible from a hip and hind leg perspective. So an interesting sow here. I think what even adds value to this particular lot, she's due to Power Hour, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later. I know Will's got his opinion on that as well. This Power Hour thing's been very good. She's actually due just a little bit later, with that considering, though, for how far along, or how far along she isn't, I guess I should say, I think carrying a very heavy litter here. Bred to Power Hour due the 4th day of January.
Well, this Lot 15 little alien comes in here, and I remember her mother vividly from last year's offering. I thought one of the most just different-looking sows that you'd ever want to lay your eyes on. And I think what's neat is you can sure see this one's mother in her when you look at her. And then just to speak, we talked a lot about the bred gilts being high risk, high reward, and maybe some of you prefer these young, proven bred sows. How many times do you get the opportunity to buy the mother of a bear that was reserved at a Midwestern state fair? Those opportunities don't come along very often, and there's a reason behind that, because a lot of times a sow like that's the headliner within a program. I think that speaks volumes to the depth of the females that they've got here at Team Sloan to be able to cut loose one that's accomplished something like that. She's a young sow. She's made it up for success. This Power Hour thing, we bought some of that semen in the sale last year, and I wish we'd have bought more. I wish we had more gilts. I think that boar, in terms of siring ability, sires as consistently good of a hip and hind leg as any sire in the country. Their length of hip, their bend to their rear skeleton and cushion to their lower joints is so impressive. And I think this one could raise you a championship caliber show barrow. I think more importantly, she could leave you with daughters, especially the Power Hour daughters, that are going to keep you in business for several years to come. I like this one. I like the way she's made it up here.
Lot 15, again, bred to Power Hour. She's due the 4th day of January. Next up would obviously be Lot 14. For those of you guys following along in the catalog, we're still going in backwards order. And, for lack of better terms, and we've probably said it a couple times already, I hope I don't say it too much, because I hope people realize I'm as hard on my own stuff as anybody's, and I truly mean that, and I hope it comes across that way. Foxy, Lot 14, is one of my absolute favorite in the offering. I'll let Will kind of tell you what he thinks visually. I'm not saying she's absolutely perfect, but where I think this one's good and what she brings to the forefront, particularly for a lot of crossbred boars out there, her ability to mate their positive aspects that they bring forth, I think is maybe as unique as anything that we have within the offering. This particular female would actually be a littermate brother to the reserve FFA bear at the Nebraska State Fair a couple seasons ago that the Alps crew would have showed. More importantly, her mom would have actually been Lot 5 in our sale last year. That was certainly a sale highlight and a littermate sister to the Chubbs bear that me and Kelton would have had the opportunity to judge there at the Indiana State Fair that the Goss crew raised. And still to this day, one of my absolute favorite animals that I ever had the opportunity to not only judge, but just look at and evaluate. In a very competitive show that particular year, he won. He won for the Martin family, and it was not even close. I thought that pig was absolutely incredible, and we had the opportunity to buy this one's mom from the Alps crew that would have actually been, I think she was reserve at the Nebraska State Fair that year. It did not matter what she cost. I was going to own her because I just judged the littermate Barra. That sow did a very good job for us. Obviously now we're getting into some of the daughters. This one's just build, her type, her story, and more importantly, the way that she's mated and when she's due may make me just a little more weak at the knees than maybe anything in the offering, to be honest. This would be Lot 14.
Well, this one comes out and takes about 2 steps across the pellets here, and got about 16 stars in my catalog because, we talk a lot about hip and hind leg and structure in terms of rear skeleton. And I think as an industry, maybe we've made some strides in terms of maybe making hip and hind leg better. I think we've got some work to do in terms of front end set and shoulder set and angulation. This one's just angulation to her shoulder, her cushion to her front knee, and just her front end assembly, I think, are just incredibly, incredibly good. You watch her reach and go out of her shoulder and front end. She just does it effortlessly. She's got a stout yet feminine head on her, and then you dive into the details in terms of the way she's bred. She's bred to mainline. Maybe I'm a little partial there. A boar we raised that's been off the charts good here in his first season. And from what I've seen, this is the prototypical sow to breed to that boar. This is set up for success. She's got lots of stars in my book. I like her a lot. Again, in terms of due date, some flexibility there. This is one, though, that if you're into using some of those boars that bring some of the wilder pieces to the table, bring them and pow them on this one, and you're going to stay in business because her skeletal quality and build are just absolutely off the charts good. I like this one here a great deal.
Well, for sure, definitely one of my favorites. And again, you know, when we had this event, probably sounds a little like a broken record, but you got to offer stuff that's going to spark some interest. This lot 14, also known as Foxy, is without a doubt a sale highlight. Again, God's gift, rusty cage, never before. So when you look back on some of that pedigree stuff on the south side of things, excuse me, I don't know if it gets any better. She's bred to mainline, and again, like Will alluded to, not just because he raised him. I don't know if there's, you know, if you made a power ranking, I suppose, of a top 5 boar in the country that has as much steam, as much hype, as much just excitement around him, he'd be on the short list for sure. And then she's due the 14th day of December. I like this one a good deal. So again, lot 14 here, Foxy. We'll switch barns here and let them come in from the other side. But as we work into the, I guess, the top half of the catalog, and again, for those of you guys tuning in, I know you've heard it in person, but if you're just tuning in, there will be a sale order tomorrow morning that we'll post, and there will be a different order than catalog order. So catalogs tends to be just a little bit random. We'll have a sale order to the best of our ability that we have put together. This would be what we call the Boble sow, and we've got a couple Boble sows, if we're going to be honest, and both of them have done an incredible job for us, but this one still holds the title as the Boble sow, and I commend the crew there in Illinois for what they've been able to do, not only winning pig shows, but more importantly, the sows they've made, the boars they've made have had a direct impact in a positive way on the industry that we make a living in. So again, this would be lot 13. She has done just an incredible job. You know, everybody gave me hell that year at Perfect Timing. I bought the first and second gilt through the ring, and I don't know. I don't think I got approval from the farmstead here. I was buying them both, and it did not matter because if I bought one, I didn't know. You couldn't just say you're going to buy one. You had to either buy them both or neither. So I'm going to get a little long-winded on this lot, but we bought 2 that year. The other one would have actually come from Laird. And she would have sold in last year's sale, and she made the Grand Bear at the Iowa State Fair this past summer for the Heron crew there in Oklahoma. So, you know, it's interesting. We talked about selling them both, and I thought, well, in last year's sale, and I thought, well, we're gonna sell one, one this year, and we're gonna sell one the next year, hopefully. This sow's done incredible. I think her first litter grossed over $60,000. Her as a show gilt, I believe, was like 4th in her division for the Jackson family there at the exposition, and since then she's just absolutely never missed. Has raised a couple boars that are in studs, has raised just an astronomical amount of high-dollar baby pigs, and then more importantly, you know, I think what truly defies a foundation kind of female is their ability to have gilts that out-generate them. This actually would be the grandmother of our $51,000 gilt at Perfect Timing there just a couple of weeks ago that I think was very, very well received. Again, boars, barras, gilts, it doesn't matter. I know this one's got just a tick of age if we're just being transparent in relation to some of the other ones. This thing's as relevant as she's ever been, in my opinion, because she was absolutely ahead of her time in terms of bone, in terms of feature, in terms of the extras that she does have. And to put icing on the cake, she's bred to Culture Shock due the 26th day of December.
Well, Troy mentioned there the little story when he bought both of these gilts, and maybe that was kind of the front end of some of those baby gilts starting to bring just a little more money as people started to recognize the value of the females. And I was probably one of those that thought he was just crazy as hell, but man, it's sure panned out. That one last year has wrote her story and continues to write her story. I look for the same thing from this one, a sow that's already generated a reserve FFA barrel at Missouri, a boar that was in stud at Laird's. And I think Troy stole my thunder just a little bit when he mentioned maybe the true value of a sow is the ability of her daughters to out-generate her. That daughter or granddaughter of this sow that they sold at perfect timing, that little gilt that brought $51,000, maybe one of my favorite baby gilts that I've had the opportunity to see in quite some time. I absolutely love that thing. So he mentioned that maybe this sow's got just a little more age on her. Who cares when she's accomplished what she's done? You keep the daughters out of her. She's bred to culture shock. You keep the daughters out of her, get those things bred back, and man, you could have a sow herd in no time with daughters out of this particular sow. And in the same breath, I don't think she's one of those that's just too plain or vanilla to make barrows that can win or herd boars. She's done it already. She's proven it. I think that's where the value comes in on a proven sow like this one right here. And to reiterate, Troy there, the Bovell firm, I think, a firm that's known for making their share of pigs that go out and win shows, but I think even more importantly, they produce pigs that go make an impact in other herds. This particular sow's done it here. I look for her to continue to go do that wherever she ends up there.
For sure. Again, this would be lot 13. This would be what we call the Bovell sow. She's bred to the boar that we raised that they call Culture Shock there at Premium Blend Genetics, due the 26th day of December. Next up would be what we refer to as the Unashamed sow. She has been awesome here at our particular place. What are I guess her biggest win for those of you guys most interested in? Hey, what has she done? This particular sow would have raised the very, very popular reserve gilt there at the Indiana State Fair in 2024. And I know, that she wasn't champion that particular day, but I can tell you I had maybe as many positive comments, on that particular gilt as any. And that's nothing to take away from the gilt that beat her that particular day, because she was just absolutely incredible as well. But a very good pair of gilts that were granted reserve at the Indiana State Fair that year. What I will tell you, and we're going a little bit back in time, but one of my favorite bears that we ever raised would have been the Copenhagen pig that would have won the Missouri State Fair in 2022. Until the day I die, I will tell you that was still one of my favorite pigs. That was just fun to watch from start to finish, and ended on a high note. Luckily, had some luck behind us maybe, and it always takes that to get to the winner's circle. But that would actually be a maternal brother to this particular gilt. So kind of an interesting story. I know the Unashamed thing, we didn't have as many of those as we should have, but I think those sows have been very, very good. You got the Never Before back in there, and Will can tell you how dominant those Never Before sows have been across the board. So again, another one here that's due just a little bit later. What I will tell you about the January due date is, we've talked about a wide variety of shows to go to. It's pretty obvious to see from the outside looking in. Pigs show forever. This may be a litter here that stretches into the fall season, and maybe it's crazy to think, but maybe just a little fresher than some. She's bred to Plan B. Plan B is a little under the radar. We did not do a very good job promoting that boar. He is actually a litter mate brother to Power Hour. When we bought Power Hour, Garrett there at GNS told me they had a litter mate, and we scooped him up. We didn't think twice. And those pigs have been nice. If I'm being honest, we didn't have a ton of them because when push come to shove, we probably used Power Hour before Plan B. But I can tell you the good Plan Bs are just as good or better as the Power Hour. We most recently sold that boar there to 66 Ventures there in the state of Oklahoma, and I know they're excited about that boar's future moving forward. So, again, talk a little longer than I should. I know Will already said that. I'll let you hear his comments here on Lot 12.
Yeah, this particular sow comes out, and man, you look at her resume and what she's done and her pedigree. Troy touched on the never before thing there, and the dominance or impact that particular boar's had on the bottom side of pedigrees. I think maybe he missed a little bit there. That those unashamed daughters have been dang good too. The ones that we've had at our place have been generators of pigs that have sold well, but more importantly have fed well. He talked about that gilt that was reserved at Indiana State Fair there, and made it sound like she just got beat by some old show gilt. The gilt that beat her was the gilt that the Holderly firm there showed that was grand at Expo, grand at Louisville, grand at Indiana State Fair. And I talked to some guys that I trust their opinion, and they liked this gilt that was reserved just as well and thought she pushed her as hard as any gilt had pushed her all summer. That gilt that the Holderly crew had, arguably one of the best show gilts of the last decade, if not the best one. The one that was out of this one was right behind her. So your opportunity to tie into a female right here that's done stuff and accomplished it, and it wasn't long ago. It was here in the last year or two. Again, if you just want to come in here and buy the one that looks the best, maybe this sow doesn't visually just knock your socks off like some of the other ones do, but her daughter that was reserved at Indiana State Fair, I've heard nothing but good things about that particular gilt. The Plan B thing here, we talked a lot about Power Hour. Plan B maybe brings just a little more bulk and dimension. I think he fits this particular sow extremely well.
For sure. This sow here in front of you, again, is Lot 12. She's bred to Plan B due the 8th day of January. Well, as we roll through the preview here, sometimes Lot 11 here likes to be a little fast and a little spooky, but sometimes here at the farm anyway, some of the better ones are wired just a little bit different. And for lack of better terms, I think Will kind of talked about it earlier, but sometimes we pick a term and we throw it around just a little bit loosely. This just looks like a brood sow, in my opinion, and she's kind of always struck me in that way. This would be a Dirty Shame, which would have been a boar there at Moyers that I think did a very nice job laying in some females. Did those Barras win the big banners? Maybe not, but I think the females have been very, very good. And then you talk about on the backside of it, Never Before Juggernaut. Juggernaut absolutely kept us in business, if I'm being honest. If you guys have followed our bred program and our program in general, over the last 5 or 6 years, you can see a lot of the Juggernaut pop up, and then obviously you got the Never Before back in there. So the mom of this particular sow would actually be the same sow that would have made Past the Hat, the $140,000 boar that did a very good job there at Crossroads. I believe he made the Grand Bear of the Year that you judged OIE there, and that pig was just absolutely, we've talked about elite ones that are as unique as any. That bear was as good as you could possibly ever want. So that boar did a good job. So the mother here would be the mother of Past the Hat. Again, sometimes it's interesting this bred thing, and maybe as a buyer, sometimes I'm guilty of it too. It's what they're bred to and what they're due to, or what they're bred to and when they're due. Excuse me. This one's bred to Unrivaled. She's due the 20th day of December, and that alone, I think, if that doesn't spark your interest, you're probably living under a rock, because the Unrivaled thing's been absolutely off the charts.
Yeah, another visually just a very impressive sow comes to us here in terms of just her comfort level, her build, her presence. I think all those things are very, very good. And then, Troy talked about her being a Dirty Shame. I think, we talked about the Never Before in the previous lot, and then the Juggernaut. As I got to be good friends with Troy, I just kept hearing about these Juggernaut sows over and over and over again. And I think some of those highlighted a couple of the first bred sales that he had, or else their influence highlighted a couple of those bred sales that he had. I'm not going to be like him. I'm not going to get too long-winded. When you study this sow phenotypically, study that she's bred to Unrivaled. The Unrivaled hype is for real. My biggest regret with Unrivaled is we didn't breed more sows to him. We had some of them at the end of this past crop and bred a few of them to him this time. As it's crazy to start thinking about next breeding season already. It's right around the corner. Unrivaled's one that we plan to use as much as any going forward because I think that hype is for real. Those pigs look the part and look like pigs they're going to feed. I think he complements this particular sow very, very well.
For sure. Again, lot 11 here, bred to Unrivaled like Will just talked about. She's due the 20th day of December. We'll bring out lot 10 next, and I think, as she hits the shavings, I don't know how else to say it, but if we're going to go show a big sow and show her in a show ring, which that obviously doesn't happen, this one's got to get towards the forefront of the offering. This particular gilt would have been the champion at the Kansas State Fair as well as the KJLSA, KJLSA, I can't talk, but the Kansas Junior Livestock Association show there in Kansas for the Hikas family a few seasons ago. Her mom would have actually been a bred gilt purchase that we would have bought from the Laird firm, a 2020 sow that did just an amazing job for us. And unfortunately, we lost her at a young age, but a couple of her daughters have done an exceptionally good job. This particular female has maybe just not got that big time win. What I will tell you is Cade, that's driving the sow now, had a bear at Missouri that was maybe as close to being as elite as we have ever made in terms of bone, in terms of hip and hind leg structure. He was not perfect, and anybody that saw him would say he was not perfect, but maybe as close to being as just wild and as unique as anything we've ever made. That particular bear definitely was very, very, memorable in my opinion. Another litter mate out of that particular litter would have brought $13,000. Another litter mate sister would have brought $45,000. Again, as a show gilt, she was successful. Her pigs have been more than well accepted, have paid a lot of bills around here. Again, I think this Relentless thing is going to be awfully neat. She's due the 28th day of November.
I couldn't agree more. As Troy talks about what this sow brings to the table visually, if we're having a little sow show here in terms of the ones we've seen, this one goes to pin one and does so pretty quickly. Just beautiful looking from shoulder blade forward. She's moderate from her shoulder blade to her hip, yet long and extended about her hip and rump, and then you dive into the offspring that she's produced. Troy talked about Cade's barrow there and what she's accomplished already. I think maybe what he missed on is this is a tricked out daughter, arguably the most dominant sire of the past. I think you could make an argument that that's maybe the most dominant sire of our lifetime in terms of tricked out, a boar that was lost way too soon. You're not going to get many chances to buy a direct daughter or tricked out. Right here she is. She looks the part. She's bred to Relentless. I absolutely love the pigs we have out of Relentless. That's another boar that we plan to go back and use again. I think a unique opportunity here in the Calico sow.
For sure. Lot 10, again, here a sow we call Callie. That would have been her name early on in life. That would have been the name that Hikas would have gave her early on, and was a very successful show gilt. Bred to Relentless, due the 28th day of November. Lot 10. Well, next up is Lot 9, and the interesting thing about the show pig world is we can get wrapped up in show pigs, and at the same time it's about people. And one of my favorite trips, I guess, judging trips, and like I said earlier, I don't judge a ton of them, just to try to stay close to home if we can. But one of my favorite trips that I ever went on, I judged the San Antonio Cross Gilts there in 2022, I do believe it was. And that same year, Hilty Hilty and Albright judged the purebred gilts, and it was the same day, and we got to go out eat a steak dinner and go have a little fun, and they were judging the pure gilts, and I was judging the crosses, and I said, hey guys, you got to come over. I think I've got one that's just absolutely incredible. I'm going to buy her. It does not matter. We got to break the bank, whatever it takes. So anyway, long story short, Charlene made her way back to Cameron. The lady there that was our driver and works for the San Antonio Livestock Show with Charlene. But anyway, no one cares about that story. But her name was Charlene. This one got the name Charlene. A sow that's done an incredible job for us. Without a doubt, a sale highlight. If you're looking for a more proven sow that's just absolutely going to keep you in the game and still have the ability to shoot the moon, I would put this one on your short list. She herself was champion gilt that day. That day I judged. She raised the champion Division II here at Tulsa in the gilt show a couple weeks ago. Would have had a champion Division I in the gilt show at Missouri. Would have raised Cadesboro that was reserved 4-H there a couple seasons ago. And again, I think what's even more impressive about her track record is now her daughters are starting to really show up and kind of be towards the forefront of our particular operation here. So one I know Will talked about earlier, she literally looks the exact same as the day we bought her. So one that's been fun. It's going to be hard to watch her leave, but want to offer some of our best ones here to you guys.
Well, I remember the trip to San Antonio well, and I believe that was the day we had the Mexican lasagna for lunch, wasn't it? A little inside joke there, but a really fun trip. If Albright's watching, I'm sure he picked up on it. And Troy talked about how impressive this particular sow was that day. I vividly remember we got done with lunch. They were getting ready to sell them. They paraded them. I thought she looked incredible then. I'll be honest with you, I think she looks even better now than she did then. I challenge you to go anywhere in the country and find a mature sow that looks so impressive. And I think what's unique here is a lot of times when you find one that looks like this, they haven't raised anything. Just to be honest, so many times those ones that look the part maybe aren't the generators. You get all the good here. You get the one that looks the part, yet has been a consistent generator, has been a backbone of Team Sloan. She's still siring gilts or raising gilts and barrows that can be competitive. Buy this one, keep her daughters, sell the male pigs. I'm sure the male pigs would probably more than pay for her. Her daughters are going to keep you in business for a long, long time. I think this is absolutely one incredible looking mature sow that when they're built like her, they're going to stick around for a while. Her build and just comfort level for one that's packing that much stuff, I think are absolutely phenomenal. If this one doesn't just get you fired up visually, you better check your pulse. This is an impressive female.
For sure. Again, that would be Lot 9. She's bred to Logic there at Isaac's, and we've had a few of those already. And actually, Isaac texted me there and said, "Hey, what do you think?" And I said, "Man, they're pigs on the sow, but the litter size has been good, the conception rate was good, and they look better than average on the sow. So if you can settle." You can have big litters and the pigs look good on the sow. You're off to the races in this particular business at this stage of the game. So, again, one of the sale highlights, in our opinion, she'll be towards the front of the sale offering tomorrow night. She's due the 29th of November. And if anybody has any Mexican lasagna questions, refer there, ask Hilty kind of what he knows about that, because apparently at San Antonio, when they cook you enchiladas for lunch, it's also known as the Mexican lasagna. Again, going in lot order for those of you guys that maybe just tuned in, we started at the bottom, and now we're here, I guess, for lack of better terms. But lot 8 comes out next. This would be a no-huddle daughter. Would have actually bought the mom here from Will here to my right that would have been kind of a sale highlight, and I believe it was his first ever a bred sale offering there that he had in Pennsylvania a few seasons ago. And man, her mom was one that again, when you find one, you might overpay for them. There is absolutely no doubt, though. We were bringing her back to Missouri, and looking back, we dang sure didn't overpay. She wasn't cheap, but she did a very good job. And you know, like I said, it sounds cliche and like a broken record, but her daughters have probably out-generated her, and I mean that in a good way. Here's another female that's bred to mainline. Again, if you haven't heard about that boar, you're probably sleeping under a rock. You know, I'm going to be honest, I don't know if this one's just ever raised a big-time win, kind of a big banner, I guess, for lack of better terms. What I will tell you is her offspring have been just wildly popular, very, very expensive, I guess, in a good way. Has done a very, very good job in that regard, and there is no doubt, and I mean that with the utmost confidence, this is the best that we've had her mated to, not only in terms of just matching up the positive attributes that she brings forth, but just general quality, general good, and general breeding value. I think this mainline deal is going to be real good.
Well, this No Huddle daughter comes out here, and I would venture to say that that boar's impact maybe is undervalued in terms of his daughters. I can speak that you know, myself and the Tres Amigos boys and Corb were partners on No Huddle, and we've all got multiple daughters still. And I bet if you visited with any of us, the one thing we'd tell you is we wish we had more of them, because they continue to generate the kind that are good on sale day, but more importantly, the kind that go out and feed and hang banners and get along when it matters most. I guess, you know, Troy talked about the Calico sow, the best-kept secret daughter that is the mother of this particular sow. Interesting fact there, the grandmother is a sow that we bought from Heimer that was lot one in his sale that actually raised the Grand Barrett OYE in 2017. So there's power in the blood, and stacked generation on generation. Maybe I'm partial to mainline. Troy gave you his thoughts on him. We've got as many mainline litters coming this time around as we do anything. I think the hype there is for real, and I think there's several sons that are going to be introduced here. I think that boar fits this particular sow to a T, and that's probably repetitive. I've said that several times tonight, but that's what breeding good livestock is taking females and trying to protect them where they need to be protected, and matching good with good, and seeing what comes of it. I think they've got mainline used and used the way he needs to be here with this particular sow. And again, a sow that is generated and represented by generation after generation of quality female. I look for this one to continue to have success.
For sure, and I think, you know, obviously Will remembering some of that stuff that I don't just proves that he's probably better from a marketing perspective than our operation, so hats off to him. Again, Lot 8 here, mainline, due the 27th day of November. Well, next in will be Lot 7, another sow that has captured a name, I guess, and kept it throughout her career. This would be the sow we call Sugar. Next intention, Dirty Bill. So getting just a little older school, I guess, if you will. What I will tell you is sometimes we're a little behind in buying into the hype and buying into the good ones and breeding to them. Sometimes we live under a rock sometimes, and we were just a little behind on using the Next Intention deal. So if you see Next Intention sows in our program, they're probably just a little bit younger than what you might expect. Also on the dam side of things, the Dirty Bill sow was just absolutely incredible. And if you've studied our program over the last few years, and more importantly, this particular event, the Dirty Bill sow has showed up in lots of different pedigrees. So would have actually sold a littermate sister to this one that I think brought a good chunk of money. I think it was $17,000 there last year ago that the Moyer firm would have bought, and I know that sow has done a very good job for them. This particular sister would actually, or this particular sow, excuse me, would actually be the aunt to the gilt that Cade would have showed last summer. That would have been grand gilt at the Missouri State Fair, as well as the third overall gilt there at the Team Purebred Junior Nationals. Again, we all want to talk about due date. We all want to talk about what they're bred to, and I've been on the buying side of things. I totally get it. They got to fit in your window. They got to be bred to a boar that's going to create some excitement. Again, we've talked about the December due date. November's a little early, it seems like sometimes. January's a little late sometimes, and if you're going to go right in the middle of there, you're going to fall right in the middle of December. Bred to the king daddy of them all, Wide Awake, due the 18th day of December.
Oh, we walked back through the barn here, the show barn where the sows are penned at, and some of them were up kind of milling around. This one was laying down, and he said, I think you'll like that one when you get the opportunity to see her. And, man, he knows his buddy well, because this one absolutely would just blow you away to visually appraise her. Wild looking, head and neck and flat back, long hipped, comfortable down low. Just her ability to reach and go and look that unique is something that you don't put together in one package very often. Most times when you got one that's that wild looking, they're a little messed up somewhere. She is absolutely wild looking, yet nearly perfect from a structural standpoint. And then, you know, you look at her resume and her lineage and what they've been able to accomplish there. I think the unique thing here is too many times a sire surfaces and is forgotten about too soon. We're not going to be forgetting about Wide Awake anytime soon, but I think we could all continue to breed sows to him. Here's one that is bred to Wide Awake, and from my scouting report on Wide Awake, this is the kind of sow he needs bred to. I think this could be off the charts good.
For sure. Lot 7 there, also known as Sugar. She's a Next Intention Dirty Bill. She's bred to Wide Awake due the 18th day of December. Next up will be Lot 6. For those of you guys following along, this would be an Icon, My Intention Provoked. So Icon would have been the boar there at Hoff Schulte's that did a very nice job. This particular sow would actually be a littermate sister to the Grand Market Gilt there at the Georgia National. We had a pair of those My Intention sows, and I know everybody's probably tired of hearing us talking, but if you follow along for just a bit, we had a pair of those My Intention sows that went back to the good Provoked sow that actually have the Raven sow back in there just a bit. And for those of you guys that have followed along with our bred sale, those are all females that have continuously tried to pop up, or not tried, have continuously popped up each and every year. We unfortunately lost both of those My Intention sows, just kind of a freak deal that both of them passed within a small area of time, or a small window of time. So we've done or tried to do a good job, maybe just trying to keep some daughters and you know, kind of try to replace them. But that pair of My Intention sows was just absolutely incredible. I can't say enough about them. Like I said, we lost them at a young age, but they were absolutely off to the races. And anybody that raises show pigs knows that it ain't easy. Sometimes you lose the good ones at a young age. Sometimes they don't breed. Sometimes they don't fare, or whatever it may be. There's a long list of hurdles that you got to jump to ultimately get to the finish line. The littermate sister to the mother of this one would have raised the $45,000 granddaddy boar there that we would have sold Moyers, as well as the reserve gilt that Cade would have showed at Breeders' Cup that would have also went on to be the reserve gilt at the Spring American Royal. That particular gilt has culture shocks. They are nursing in the fairing house, and we ear-notched them today, and I thought, man, I thought they just looked exceptional. And you know, speaking of hurdles, they might all be dead in the morning. That's kind of how this thing works. But a sow line that I wish we had more of. And honestly, when me and the boys went through and said, what are we going to sell? We've got a littermate sister to this one that's due in January. And I thought, hey, you know, this one's due just a little bit earlier. We're a little tighter on crate space. Let's throw her in there. Let's keep the sister. Let's offer something. Excuse me, let's offer something that our people are willing to gravitate to and be interested in. If you guys scroll through the catalog, Watch and Learn is at Crossroads. He would actually go back to some stuff that we would have sold there in our bread sale a few seasons ago that Mr. Ben Cooley would have dipped into and gravitated to. That is a boar that would have sold at perfect timing. And that sire group that we had there, we had a group of those in May that were just absolutely exceptional. They would have been some sale highlights that we would have had there in summer top shelf. And again, get a little long-winded, but I would encourage you guys that are interested in buying a female tomorrow night to kind of study the lineage here, not only on the south side of things, but the service sire as well. Again, this would be lot 6.
Well, yeah, as we continue to go through this impressive bread offering here, you know, we talk about some sows in terms of look and presence. I think if you're into ones that are just stout and rugged, I think you could make it an argument. This is one of the heavier boned females that we've had the opportunity to see. She's just absolutely got giant feet, yet she's built right in terms of her length of hip and the way she utilizes her skeleton. You dive into the pedigree there, and Troy talked about the lineage there on the bottom side. Icon actually was out of a bred sow that we sold that goes back to that 5'2" never before sow line. That's been such a big part of what we do there at home. So this sow's got power in the blood, top side of the pedigree, bottom side of the pedigree. And then I couldn't agree with Troy more in terms of those watch and learn pigs. The few of them that we've had the opportunity to see have been have made us perk up about that boar and want to incorporate him in our program. You know, we talk a lot about due dates. Obviously, they've got to fit into your program. In my opinion, at least, in what we're doing and how we're making them. This late November through first half of December, in my opinion at least, is prime time anymore. Here's an awesome heavy-boned, heavy-structured kind of sow teed up for success right there in the prime time.
Lot 6, again, bred to Watch and Learn. She's due the 28th day of November. As we get in the short rows of the offering here tonight, we'll get in the top 5, and Brandy is one that we've had kind of on our short list to kind of offer, and again, try to spark some interest. And, you know, I can't say enough about what the no-intro sows have done for us, and I know everybody had their opinion on those particular pigs. This particular sow would be a direct daughter of the Raven female, and we're not going to get into that particular sow, but without a doubt, you know, if you just had to rank the top handful of sows that we had the opportunity to get to deal with on a daily basis, Raven would be on the short rows. So here is lot 5. We call her Brandy. She is a littermate sister to Lot 1 that you guys will see, which would also be the aunt to the two gilts out of Trick Daddy that we saw earlier, lots 22 and 23. This female's done an incredible job. Third overall Barra at the Missouri State Fair, another division champion. She actually would have raised the Hill Barra that created quite a stir this spring or summer, whatever you want to call it, that won a bunch of shows. And then, like we talked about, what have you done for me lately, or what have you daughters have done for me lately? This one's probably my most favorite daughter of this particular female would actually be the mother of the $47,500 pig, as well as the $45,000 pig that we just sold, I believe, 3 weeks ago at perfect timing. A pair of boar pigs. One of them actually ended up being a Barra, but a pair of boar pigs as we sold them that were very, very well received. Both sired by Power Hour. Again, those would be grandsons of this particular sow here in the ring now.
Was this Lot 5 comes out here and comes across the pellets out here. She's one that kind of makes you take a deep breath because, we talked and joked about some of these females. If we had a little sow show, which one would win or get toward the forefront. I don't know if this one would win, but she'd be right in the mix of visually a front pasture. And I talked about how that term gets used too loosely. This sow could go to about any operation in the country and be one of the most impressive females there. You dive into what she's done in terms of generating offspring and see what she's accomplished there. Troy mentioned it earlier. Maybe the true value in a sow is her daughters being able to out-generate her. That pair of pigs at perfect timing were incredibly good. They were well received, and rightfully so. This is another one that I think, we talk about some matings maybe being set up to generate females more. Some of them are swing for the fences and maybe the kind that could go ahead and make a boar. This one could do both in one litter, in my opinion. You keep the gilts and go win a Midwestern State Fair with a son out of her, or maybe a pig that I think with her type and kind and the way she's bred, there's opportunity for some of those pigs potentially to stretch even into the fall time. I'm getting long-winded this time because I like this one. You look at her pedigree, no introduction, lock it up, visionary. If you want to make a who's who of maternal sows that have generated pigs that have sold well and won, it's all right there in one pedigree. Bred to Relentless, I think a boar that fits this sow very, very well.
For sure will. Again, Lot 5, Bred to Relentless. I know you just said it, but due the 6th day of January. Comes from one of our absolute best sow lines. And again, she'll be a litter mate to Lot 1. I talked about that whole lineage earlier. We saw a couple daughters of Lot 1. Obviously, this would be an aunt to those two particular bred gilts that we saw. Lot 5, Bred to Relentless, due the 6th day of January. Lot 4 will be next. She is an American-made blow. She is bred to far and wide, and for those of you guys that have followed along with our catalog, obviously there's several of them that are due to far and wide. We had a lot of faith in that boar. We loved our first ones, and we dipped in a little harder and probably bred him and used him just a little more aggressively than we did the first time because of the success that we did have with those baby pigs. This here particular sow would actually be the mother of Stamp, the boar that would have stood there at Crossroads Genetics for a couple seasons that brought $40,000 as a baby pig and top shelf. Littermate brother would have actually been the Copenhagen Barra that was one of my favorites. He was a predominantly white pig that unfortunately maybe didn't ring the bell in the junior show, but he was champion in the open show there at the Missouri State Fair in 2022. Most notably, this sow actually just raised the reserve Grand Bear at the American Royal in 2024. So a little older school pedigree. I told Will that, and I said, I want to say she's a little older and past her prime. At the same time, she just raised the reserve Grand Bear at the 2024 American Royal. And that pig, regardless of what anybody else thought of him, I guess we liked him a good deal, and I know the judge did on that particular day. And again, the daughters of this particular sow are really starting to pave their way. I'd encourage you to dip into the details and study what her and her daughters have done, and that's all available to see in the catalog. But I think a female here that still has some gas left in her tank.
Well, this white blue sow comes out here, and man, I think just from a skeletal quality standpoint, one that's so good built in terms of just shoulder set and angulation, length of rump, and just cushion to her lower joints. I think all those things are certainly well represented in this sow. Troy talked in detail about the barreled American Royal, and you study the lineage here and what she's generated. I guess, something that's maybe picking up steam across the country that Troy didn't touch on. There's a light cross division about anywhere you'll go in the country anymore. This sow's predominantly solid white. The way she's bred there, I'd look for this sow to have, maybe half and half, or have several blues that fit that light cross division. If that's something that you're looking to capitalize on, I think she does it and just doesn't do it to do it. I think she's going to do it at a high level. Again, I think one that they've got mated very complimentary in terms of sire and what she represents there. I may be a little partial to the American Made thing. That's a boar that we had raised that goes back to the old Visionary sow line that traces back to even American Made's mom would have been a litter mate to the original Farnham sow that was a Visionary. So, again, when you talk about a sow that's got power in the blood on top side and bottom side of her pedigree, and then does it in a white package, it's going to give you some of those light crosses. I think another one here that you put several stars beside in your catalog.
For sure. Lot 4, again, American-made blow, comes from one of our, most proven sow lines, far and wide. She's due the 27th day of December. Next up will be Lot 3, and we always struggle just a bit to offer some of these pures because we don't have just a ton of them. The Chester breed has been just, it owes us nothing. It's been incredibly good to our firm over the last few years. We've been fortunate to capture some banners at some state and national levels and put some boars and studs and so on and so forth. This one comes right from the heart of it, for lack of better terms. This would be called the Fort Chester. This particular female would have been shown by the Fort girls there in the state of Texas a few seasons ago. Won a few banners, or several banners, I guess, as far as that's concerned, and would have ended her career as reserve champion Chester Gilt at the San Antonio Stock Show, I believe the year Will judged, actually, and I'll let him hit on that. But this sow's been awesome. She does an absolute insane job, and just in terms of milking and farrowing, she's one of those that if you see her oozing, you can go to bed and come back the next morning and probably going to see a big litter. And I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that about many of them, if I'm just being honest. But this one knows how to do it. She's done it at a high level. Probably from a win perspective, or what have you done for me lately aspect. Her most notable win would have been Renee Conklin's Barra. That would have been reserve Chester and ultimately reserve Supreme Barra, reserve overall Barra there at the Team Purebred deal in Springfield in the summer of 2024. She as well had a gilt that summer that would have been third overall Chester gilt at the same show. So again, does an awesome job in the crate. Does an awesome job raising competitive show pigs. Her mom would be the Jack in the Box sow. And I don't know if Will follows Chester's. I know he probably doesn't, but that's the sow that we would have offered a few seasons ago that, I think you could argue, maybe it sounds arrogant, but it's probably as well known as any Chester sow in the country, because her ability to make Chester's just better was absolutely incredible. So a direct daughter here out of the Jack in the Box sow. She's bred to double dipping. Getting a little long-winded, but double dipping I think is just absolutely going to be a huge part of the breed moving forward.
Well, I'm glad that Troy covered all the bases there from a pedigree standpoint, because I can't offer you a damn thing in terms of a pedigree standpoint on a Chester. I do remember this gilt. I had the opportunity to judge this gilt there at San Antonio that year, and I thought one of the more impressive breeds. When you go to Texas and judge Chesters, they're serious about it. They're good. I think they're arguably better there than they are anywhere in the country. Man, the firm here at Team Sloan has absolutely dominated in the Chester breed. Their Chesters are as good and as relevant as they are anywhere. I think this gilt, obviously was reserved at San Antonio, and man, that was a good Chester show. I think visually, man, as a mature sow, she's even more impressive as she was as a show gilt. She's had success. She's made it for success. Ties into the key sow there that has been a big part of not only Team Sloan here, but of the Chester breed. She's getting a little grouchy out here, but certainly one that, man, needs to be a highlight if you're looking for a purebred Chester sow.
For sure. Again, that would be lot 3. She's bred to double dipping, and for those of you guys that don't know what that is, that's the Danner boar that we would actually purchase as a baby pig, I think for $15,000, and after Premium Blend pried on us for just a bit, he ended up making his way to Arlington, Indiana. So, sometimes I think we maybe get credit for double dipping because we ultimately sold him, but at the same time, he was raised by Danner and want to give credit where credit's due. Again, I think that boar is going to be a big part of the Chester breed moving forward. Just an absolutely incredible kind of animal. So again, bred to double dipping. She's due the 16th day of December. Well, next up will be lot 2, and it's ironic that Cade's driving her because he got the opportunity to show her as a gilt, and again another gilt or sow. I guess it's we're not going to sugarcoat it any. She's got just a shot more age to her, but man, I don't know if she's ever changed. I remember the first time that these guys got her rounded up, and I went over to their place. They lived just a few miles from here, and I was like, hey. This one might be pretty good. I think we got one here, and she had a wildly successful show career. I think she was reserve at that recovery show they had that year during COVID. That was kind of a replacement for the Expo or whatever you may call it. She went on to win the Team Purebred Junior National. She also won the Missouri State Fair, and then they went for a victory lap, I guess, for lack of better terms, and went to the National Bear Show, and she was fortunate to win that. So from a show gilt perspective, maybe as successful as anything that we're offering in this particular setting. She has had some daughters that have been absolutely incredible, and it's crazy to think because she's just a shot older, but we're just kind of getting into them, to be honest, and what they're starting to do, I think, is actually very, very neat and very, very refreshing from a breeder's perspective to see some daughters have the ability to go on and out-generate their mother. Again, we've talked about culture shock. We can talk about service sires, so we're blue in the face. We're all just guessing at the end of the day on some of these new sires, but I think this culture shock is going to be really, really good. She's due right around Christmas time. She's due this 26th of December. Again, this would be Patty. She's a young love, dirty bill, bred to culture shock.
Well, as we study this lot too and look back on previous years of the source, taking nothing away from those offerings, I always felt like lot 1 was pretty clear cut. And I think as we dip into this set of sows and set of females, you might fill up both hands with sows and gilts that you could make the argument that needed to be lot 1. I think this one falls into that category. I remember her as a baby pig. I remember her as a show gilt. She was impressive at every stage of her life. She's incredibly impressive as a mature female. Structurally so good, and especially for a sow that's got just a little bit of age on her. I couldn't think of a better Christmas present than to go out there on Christmas Day and have a litter of culture shocks out of this sow. You put her photo up, her show career up, what she's accomplished. If you're someone that's just looking to get established, you're going to gain some traction real quick because that boar is ultra popular. This is one incredible looking female. I think an established breeder or one that's just looking to start, this one could be an incredibly good addition to anyone's program. Due right there the day after Christmas, and as I said, what better way to celebrate Christmas than a litter of culture shocks out of this particular female?
For sure. Patty is lot 2, bred to culture shock, due the 26th day of December. Well, we took a little longer than we probably should have, and for those of you guys standing ringside, when I grabbed the mic, you probably expected that, and I apologize, I guess, but get excited about good livestock, get excited about the event that we have here for the extra effort and work and time and work that these guys put into it, and I want to make sure everybody here's our 2 cents, and more importantly gets a good look. This is lot 1, and before we go any further, this will be our last bred lot of the night, and we'll run out a boar prospect here in just a bit, but this will be the last bred offering just from a logistics perspective. Again, this will be Babe. She is lot 1. As a show gilt, she would have been champion middleweight at the highly competitive Breeders' Cup show there just a few seasons ago. As a sow, she's done it all. She breeds, she milks, she farrows. Her offspring have been more than well accepted, I think. She would have most recently raised the Reserve Division 1 there at the San Antonio stock show that Will would have judged there back in February. She raised the Grand Gilt at the Utah State Fair as well as the Youth Expo. She raised a gilt there that was 28th overall cross gilt at the Oklahoma Youth Expo. That was certainly one of the better ones there, I thought. It sounds cliche, it sounds like a broken record. A female that owes us nothing, a sow line that owes us nothing. Her mom would be Raven, her sister would be lot 5, and her daughters would be lot 22 and 23. So, I think it's interesting as we grow in sow numbers and we progress in this bred sale. I'm going to be honest, the first couple of years it was like, let's just kind of throw them out there and let's see what we can do. Now I feel like it's really starting to kind of make sense. We've got pedigrees, we've got stories, we've got sow lines that are consistently popping up. I think without a doubt, lot 1 here kind of represents what we're trying to do at the source.
Well, I joked as we looked at Lot 2 there that you could make an argument in terms of what sow needed to carry the title of being Lot 1 in such a deep offering, and yet when this sow comes out here, it's easy to see why they landed on this particular female to carry that title. One that's visually so impressive, and you think about her litter mate sister that we had the opportunity to see. You think about their mother that Troy talks so highly of, and then you look at what this sow's been able to generate there in terms of her offspring and her pedigree. I talked about her litter mate, no introduction, lock it up, visionary. That's just a dream pedigree on paper from a generating sow standpoint. Culture Shock, one of the more popular boars anywhere in the country. I've said that we've got our first Culture Shocks in the Farron House. They're about ready to wean, and I'm pumped up about what we see in ours. Due right there at the end of November. In my opinion, that's prime time these days. Those last couple days of November and in through December. In terms of Midwest state fairs, here's a special female bred to one of the more popular sires in the country. It's teed up for you to take advantage of right here in Lot 1.
Well, for sure, Will. Again, bred to Culture Shock, due the 30th day of November, like he already alluded to. This would be the sow that we refer to as Babe. She got that name at a young age, and again, was a successful show gilt and has done an even better job as a sow. Bred to Culture Shock, like I said, 30th day of November, Lot 1. Well, that will conclude our bread guilt / sow offering. Again, appreciate everybody for tuning in. Appreciate everybody for being here in person. We try to keep it a little interesting. We try to always have something that we think will spark just a little bit of different interest. If you're not here to buy a bread, or maybe you're tuning online and are ready to spend a little money or invest in some genetics that maybe aren't a bread, maybe your crates are full, maybe your conception rate was good. I'm going to let Will talk about this pig, and if he's lying if he says he hasn't seen this one, or excuse me, he's lying if he said he's seen this one yet, because we kind of got him hidden in the back barn. His name is Power and Light. We are not a bore stud. What I will tell you, when things are right and it just seems right, we're going to keep one. We do have the technology and all of that to send semen. Like I said, we're not a bore stud. His sire would have been Power Hour. We would have sold, I believe, 20 doses here last year that I think grossed $57,000. And, you never know the answer when you buy a boar. Do you shut him down? Do you sell a little bit? Do you use him all himself? Our Power Hours have been absolutely incredible. And I know maybe that sounds arrogant. Maybe that sounds too cocky, whatever you want to say. Every single weekend that we went to a Texas pig sale, the Power Hours were short on the list. The Power Hours always made the list. And, it's interesting. We talked about perfect timing just a little bit. Obviously, that's a sale that needs no introduction. We just took 4 of those pigs to perfect time, and they averaged right at $40,000. And if you think those were the only ones that brought money, you weren't paying attention, because we went every weekend with them, and they were very, very well received. High-dollar pigs. The gilts look like they're going to be incredible. Show gilts, more importantly, good sows, and the bears are in some of the better homes in the country. I'll let Will talk a little bit about it, but Glory Days sow here. Mama's a Glory Days on Pass the Hat sister. So we're going to offer 20 doses tomorrow, lots of 2, 2, 2, 2, and then we're going to do 2 to 12. If you want 2, take 2. If you want 12, take 12. If you want 6, do whatever you want. As much as we were infatuated about this one's, as much as we were infatuated about this one's sire, I actually think this one has some farther reaching pieces in a place or two. This, again, would be the boar we call Power and Light. We're going to offer 20 doses tomorrow night.
Well, I couldn't agree with Troy more in terms of his closing comments there. And again, as this pig drops into the preview ring, the first time that I have had the opportunity to see him, but when I saw he was out of a Glory Days sow and past the hats, Mom tied back in there. Man, if that doesn't make you sit up on the edge of your chair, I don't know what will, because in terms of sow lines, those 2 particular sow lines have generated incredibly well, and then the Power Hour thing's for real. Those pigs landed in good homes, and rightfully so. Visually, I think you can see Power Hour in this pig in terms of shoulder blade set and angulation, in terms of skull shape and length ahead of his blade. I think he's got that trademark Power Hour length of hip and behind. He comes with more everywhere. He comes with more punch. He comes with more chest. I think he does it in a more moderate package in terms of frame size and in terms of length of body. That Power Hour thing's good. I think this Power Hour or Power and Light thing, man, he can do what Power Hour did, but do it with even more punch, more feature, more chub, more dimension, while still keeping him ultra correct. Again, first time I had the opportunity to see this pig, but I can see why Troy's so high on him.
Well, thanks, Will, again, and thanks everybody for coming. We'll just hit on the last couple lots. Trenton, you can walk him out back, but again, like to try to offer a little bit of semen and a little bit of excitement. And we're not going to sit here and sell 50 doses of semen, because that's not what this event is about. But again, Power and Light will be lot 26 through 30. If anybody has any questions on kind of the details on that particular offering, please reach out to me or one of our crew members. Lot 31 will conclude the Power and Light, and that's the Culture Shock. I had the opportunity to dip in and buy a little bit of Culture Shock frozen. and I thought, why not? It just kind of makes sense that we raise the boar, and we got, I believe, 4 breads bred to him here in the offering. So we're going to offer 2 frozen doses tomorrow night on Culture Shock. So I think an interesting opportunity there to kind of freeze some stuff away and kind of do what you want to with it, when you want to. I think that's the interesting thing about Culture Shock. Lot 32 will round out the sale tomorrow night. 2 frozen or fresh, whatever you want, a power hour. And again, we're not going to make this sale about semen, but at the same time, I thought it was just fitting to kind of wrap the catalog out. You can take the fresh, you can take the frozen, whatever you want to do. A boar that's done just an incredible job for us. So appreciate everybody tuning in. Appreciate Will. Appreciate our crew. Appreciate everybody being here in person. I know it's a wild time to travel and get here, and we always fight that just a bit. But have been fortunate to sell to some of the most prominent breeders in the country. We like the offering. We like the group of sows. We like the boar pig, so on and so forth. Again, we appreciate everybody being here. We appreciate everybody tuning in. I can't thank Will enough. I know he's got 1,000 other things he could be doing, and I appreciate him being here. So thanks again. Let's eat some dinner. If anybody has any questions, please reach out to me or one of our crew members or Will or whoever it may be.